Okay, so I promised we're going to do a Make2D. What we want to do now is we want to take all of these lines that we can see, and we are going to make a 2D drawing. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put it in shaded mode because we really want to see sort of all these vertices that we're going to draw. Okay, and it'll be a good sort of reference point for us to see what is going on. Now, the next thing we're going to do is once we've got our view all set, we're kind of ready to go, we are going to select these two objects and we're going to type in Make2D and we're going to hit enter. Now you're going to have this dialog box come up, okay? And you want to make sure that that view is set to the one that you're in. So in this case, parallel, yes, good. Projection, view, very important. Object properties from input objects, yes, okay. Hidden lines, you can play with this, but generally speaking, I would say no. Okay, so I'm going to deselect that. And we can have a look at the scene silhouette. What is that? That is the silhouette line. We do want that because as you can see, this preview here, it's showing us that silhouette line as a heavier line. That's good. We want that. Okay. Group output, depending on how complex it is, you can either select this or not have it selected. Let's have it selected and I'll show you how we can get out of that if you've had it selected and it's doing things that you don't want it to, okay? And it says layer name, just let it make a Make2D layer for you, okay? So I'm gonna hit okay for that. Great, okay? So you can see it's actually populated a whole new layer over here for me. So, and you might go, well, what happened there? Well, stay tuned here. Here we go. We're going to double click on this. We're going to come back into top view. And you are going to see that in top view, it's given us a line drawing of exactly what this is, minus those ISO curves. These are called ISO curves here. If I haven't mentioned it yet, these are called ISO curves. And they just have something to do with the NURB geometry, but they're not actually, a true thing here, okay? All right, so now that we've got this line drawing here, we're just gonna double click on the top. So now we can actually manipulate this drawing, which is fantastic, okay? And all these things are available under this line here, okay? So now if, let's just have a look through. Let's see what these are all about here. So if I click on curves, okay, and then we got scene silhouette here. So the scene silhouette is this line. So it's actually duplicated the silhouette. And that may be okay for now. If we were doing something more complex, it might get in the way, but I think for now, let's just keep it, okay? So in architecture, one of the things that we like is we like our lines to actually be black, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to change. And the first thing we got to do is, because right now it took the purple lines from my purple, the purple layer that I had, and it made them purple, okay? But if I come over here, it actually looks like those lines might be black. So I'm just going to turn my print display on. That's going to be important to sort of see what's going on. So type in print display, hit enter. It says the state is off. So I'm going to turn that on. Okay. And I'm just going to hit enter. All right. So now what we got to do, okay, so these lines are purple. Fine. So let's go in. I'm just going to make this layer active. And it's really here or in your properties panel that we are going to, okay, so here we go. So if we look at the layer here, it's going to, as long as we're in here, any new line we create is going to be black, all right? But because the object was purple and the way the Make2D works, it assigned it as purple. And we can see that if we just select all these lines here and we click on our properties panel, it says display color, purple, print color, purple, okay? Now let's change that. We're just going to change it. We're going to make that black and we're going to make this one black. Oops. There we go, black. Okay, good. Hit OK. Now if I deselect it, there we go. Now it's black. Okay. So this is pretty good. It's good that we have this this silhouette line here that's dark. Now we can change that. Okay, so as long as we've got all these silhouette lines selected, I'm going to select half of them, and I'll just show you under the properties panel here. It says print width by layer. We can change that. We can actually go down and we can make those lines like really, really fat. Okay, this is probably too much. Okay, maybe what I want to do is let's just select those. Okay, and let's just dial that back. Let's maybe try maybe 1.2 or something. That's still a little thick, in my opinion. Okay, you don't want your lines at any point to be so thick that you're starting to lose the resolution, the ability to measure. So maybe we want to drop this back to, I don't know, let's try 0.8. That feels pretty good. Okay, not bad. And you can play around with this. And there's, this is where things can start to become a little bit more artistic. I'm just going to go ahead and grab all those other lines. Okay. And I'm actually going to join these. I'm going to run the join command, and I want that silhouette line to just be one line so that I only have to click it once. See, now I can only click it, I only have to click it once. And now I can go back and I can, let's try 0.7. There we go. That looks pretty good. So then the next thing that I want to do is I want to actually come in here and I want to make some of these lines heavier, especially this corner line here, right? This corner, this one, and probably even this one. I want to start to define what what lines need to be a little bit heavier. I want to sort of push the three-dimensional quality. Same with this sort of frame line here, because we've got all these other geometries that are farther away. We want those lines to be lighter. So if I click on it, you'll see that, remember we had that group output selected. We don't want that in this case. We want to be able to adjust those. So I'm going to type in ungroup and hit enter. Now I can grab each one of those lines and I can start assigning those line weights. Now remember that our silhouette line is 0.7. So in this case, let's just back it off, right? We don't ever want to be at the silhouette heaviness. We want to be less than that. So let's try a 0.5. Could be even a little heavy, to be honest. Let's go 0.3. See, sometimes it takes a little bit of experimentation. Let's just try the 0.35. And if we make this one and this one and this one the same, let's see how that looks for us. And if we're ever confused, well, what is that print width? And it says, if we click on here, it says default. Chances are, we could come back here and we could have what is default. Looks like default is pretty much the hairline. But let's just make these ones a little bit bolder. And for these squares or rectangles, we can join these two because they're all connected. And now we can come in here and let's give those a 0.25. And nothing's really changed. So this is the point where I'd probably say, okay, we want to sort of bump those other sort of lesser lines up and bring this one up to probably a 0.5. And then the lines that are really far behind here, let's just go and make sure that those are at like hairline. Okay. Now, one of the problems that we're going to have here is this is not quite ready to export. This is looking pretty good. It's not perfect. I think I might spend another minute or two just sort of adjusting that silhouette. I might make the silhouette just a bit darker, maybe not. I'd experiment with this a little bit more. But this looks pretty good because now we have this visual depth here. But one of the things that's muddying our output is this gray background. If I were to just type in view capture to file, which is how we are going to take a screenshot within, okay, it's going to have this gray background, the gray background. We don't want that. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to show you how to take this image here, and we're actually going to create a new view setting so that we can have a nice clean white background. Okay.